I can't think.
Yo, what's good out there, world? Welcome to this special edition of Trademark Sunday's Best, the Prep Edition. And today, I'm going to be making for you a homemade creamy style mac and cheese with caramelized onions, and the ingredients are as follows. So right here, I have 6 cups of grated cheese. I have 2 cups of Monterey Jack, 2 cups of sharp cheddar cheese, and I also have 2 cups of mild cheddar cheese. I'm going to be using 4 cups of whole milk. I'm going to be using some unsalted butter. I have 1 large onion. I have a 16-ounce box of elbow macaroni noodles, and I'm also going to be using my food processor to dice my onions. I'm also going to be using a little black pepper, some salt, and some parsley flakes, and you can season it to your taste. And here I have 4 tablespoons of all-purpose flour. So once again, here are the ingredients that I'm going to be using to make this homemade, made from scratch, creamy mac and cheese with a caramelized onion. Now, let's get to cooking. So while I'm waiting for the water to boil so I can add my noodles, I'm just going to prep my onion so I can put it in a food processor. So I'm just going to just take all this, what is this called, skin? Take the skin off the onion. Now, when cutting your onions up, you want to dice them really, really small. That's why I actually added to my food processor, so they can be small. I don't want no chunk size, like bite size of onions in my mac and cheese. And then I'm just going to like cut this into 4, and I'm going to add this to my processor. I'm just going to remove my lid to my processor and just throw these onions down in here. Put my lid back on. So midway through the process, I'm going to stop my processor and I'm going to check my onions and make sure they're all diced properly. Sometimes you can find some little chunks in here. So you just really want to agitate it so they could get diced properly. So once I took care of that, I'm going to place my lid back on and continue the process. So after dicing my onions, I got 1 cup total. Now this recipe calls for 1 to 2 cup of diced onions. Me, I'm only going to use 1 cup because I don't feel like dicing up any more onions. But if you like, you can use 2 cups. And I'm going to see you guys at the next step. So here I already had my water boiling for my noodles. So my water is now, it came to a boil. So now I'm going to add in my 16-ounce box of elbow noodles. And I'm going to add just a little bit of salt to this. So I'm going to let this come back to a boil. I'm going to let it boil like for 8 minutes. And then I'm going to drain it. And I'm going to see you guys at the next step. So now let's make our cheese sauce. So the first thing I'm going to do is caramelize these onions. So I'm going to get this flame on here, and I'm going to keep it up high, and I'm going to drop 2 tablespoons of butter into my big old saucepan. But this is really like a pressure cooker for real. Just like a real old pot. So I'm just going to let this melt, and once it melts, I'm going to see you guys at the next step. So now that my butter is melted, I'm going to just add my 1 cup of diced onions in. And I'm going to use my whisk and stir this around. And I'm only going to stir this around for a couple of minutes until it get caramelized, till it get like a little brown color. So now I'm going to add in my 4 tablespoons of flour. And I'm going to stir this until it becomes like a brown type, a little beige color. Sorry you can't see this, but just follow my directions. Now we're going to add in our 4 cups of milk. And we just want to whisk this all together until it becomes like somewhat smooth. So now we're going to start adding our cheese. And first I'm going to add in some of my mild cheddar cheese. And now I want to turn my flame down to a low. And I'm just going to stir this. And then once it melts, I'm going to just keep going in with more and more cheese. You want to keep stirring it because you don't want it to burn. Normally I always add a little pepper jack cheese because I like my macaroni and cheese to have a little kick to it, but they didn't have any, so that's how I wound up getting the Monterey Jack. And I'm just going to just put the rest of this up in here. And I'm going to stir this until it melts. And then I'm going to see you guys at the next step. Now, I'm putting my mac and cheese into my tinfoil pan. So when I was tasting it, I decided to add a little more. So here I added a little Slap Your Mama Cajun seasoning. And I added like a half a teaspoon of this Goldman's mustard. So now let me get this over here. I'm going to wrap this up and I'm going to let this sit overnight. And I'm not going to put this into the oven until tomorrow. So I'm going to just let it sit here and cool for a while. And really enjoy the people who watched the video and was here with me while I made my mac and cheese. I hope to see you guys tomorrow and you can see the results of my creamy mac and cheese with caramelized onions. But until then, you be great, and remember, all food was cooked in a clean kitchen with clean hands, and all food was purchased with government food stamps. So until my next video, I'll holler at y'all later. Peace.